Hello everyone, it is of course me Dan here, back again with another video and another installment in my Christopher Nolan review series. And in today's video we are going to be reviewing Nolan's probably most popular film and most well-known film, The Dark Knight. We are officially now over the halfway point of this review series. We're now in film number 6 of his filmography, so it's nice to know that we're getting towards the end of these. I definitely want to finish this film series before I head off back up to uni. The Dark Knight, it's pretty much a film that if you step onto YouTube, I think every single YouTube channel at some point in their lifetime has spoken about The Dark Knight. Surprisingly, I have not done so until now. So it's going to be very cool just for me to kind of fanboy about this movie for a little bit because I absolutely love this film. But yeah, let's just kick into the review for The Dark Knight. So The Dark Knight obviously follows the story of Batman, and it takes place around about a year after the events of Batman Begins. Batman has kind of established himself as this true crime fighter within Gotham. He's now somewhat respected by the GCPD, criminals now fear him, but this gets turned on its head when the Joker enters the fray as a solution to take down the Batman. And so it ends up pitting the Joker against the Batman and their respective ideas of chaos versus order. I'm not going to get too much in depth after that because, I mean, anybody who is watching this video and has not seen The Dark Knight, I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure most people who have watched this video have done. So just again, before I get into anything, there will be spoilers in this video. I will be spoiling stuff about The Dark Knight, but again, I feel like this is one of those movies that I'm very comfortable with spoiling because I'm pretty sure most people will have seen it. So if you're one of the very few who hasn't, there's your warning. So getting to the positives for The Dark Knight, I mean, the performance is all around spectacular. You don't really expect anything less when it comes to Nolan's films, and especially the Dark Knight trilogy, because they're just so well cast. Every single cast member in here does a phenomenal job. Of course, you've got your more seasoned cast members like Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, and Michael Caine, who obviously return in their respective roles and are as amazing as they were in Batman Begins. With Gordon, you see a lot more of his dynamic with Batman and how that is brought into conflict when obviously Harvey Dent comes into the picture, and you have kind of these two ideologies of how to protect Gotham, you know, the White Knight and the Dark Knight, and Gordon trying to come to the realization of which one he's going to side with. And then you have Lucius Fox, who very much has his own storyline with dealing with Wayne Enterprises employees, obviously pitting against him, thinking, hang on, Bruce Wayne, you know, all these suspicious things going on. Is he Batman? You know, Fox has to put up with that. He's also a lot more integral as well to Batman, actually, and his activities in this one, which I really enjoyed. And then you've got Alfred in here, who's very much has a lot more to do in this film in terms of especially his relationship with Rachel and how that's used in the film. That's very much put into question when Rachel dies, and then obviously she writes the letter to Bruce that she asks Alfred to give to him, that, you know, she was going to choose Harvey Dent over him. And Alfred ends up burning that letter because he thinks at the time, you know, he's sparing Bruce the pain of reading it. That kind of stuff is brilliant, and it's just really nice that in this movie that's filled with all these bombastic characters, you know, the more seasoned and quieter ones still got a lot more development within this film. You've, of course, like I say, speaking of Rachel, you've got Maggie Gyllenhaal, who is obviously a recast because, of course, she was played by Katie Holmes in Batman Begins. And Maggie Gyllenhaal, I actually think, does a better job than Katie Holmes. And not to say that Katie Holmes was bad in Batman Begins, I thought she was very good in the role, but I think Maggie Gyllenhaal just brought a little bit more to it. I really liked her chemistry with Aaron Eckhart. I've really brought into Rachel and Harvey as a couple. That was really good. I think she had really good chemistry as well with Christian Bale, because when you have a recast in any movie, it's always going to be awkward when you look at a character and it's like they've got two completely different faces. But for me, I think they pulled it off very well within this film. Christian Bale in this one as Bruce Wayne Batman, again, fantastic, really good in this film. I really liked very much how this film focused on the ideology of Batman and what Batman stands for and how Batman stands for order and justice. I really liked that, how the film committed to that, because Batman Begins was very much a Bruce Wayne-centric film. This very much takes the mantle of being a very much Batman-centric film, which I very much liked the approach of, and I really liked how they tackled it within the story. Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, fantastic. A brilliant, brilliant performance that I don't think gets talked about near enough, because I think Aaron Eckhart is a fantastic actor, and this film is proof of that. It's a shame that he's never really done anything on this level since The Dark Knight came out, in terms of acting-wise, because I genuinely think he is one of the best parts of the whole film, and genuinely, if the Joker was not in this movie, and it was just him as the sole antagonist, he would still be fucking amazing, because he's so great in this role, and you really buy into the Harvey Dent as a character. You really love him in the first act of the movie, and then the film just slowly takes him in this direction where he starts doing immoral things, and then things start getting taken away from him. He starts getting pushed in the wrong areas, and it leads him to that path of becoming Two-Face at the end of the film. And you feel the weight, and you feel sad to see this happen, because you genuinely wanted to see this guy become the White Knight that he was meant to be. And that's just a testament not just to the writing, but just the acting as well. But Aaron Eckhart was fantastic. But of course, the Joker is the ultimate thing that most people talk about when we speak about The Dark Knight. He's terrific in this movie. There's a reason that he's considered one of the greatest movie villains of all time, because Heath Ledger just brought something special and so magnificent to this character. And it's the utmost shame that he was not able to still be around to see just how beloved his performance was by everyone, and just to think of the career that he would have had he not been taken from us so soon. But he's genuinely phenomenal in this movie. I could go on and on about the Joker in this film, but I would just be echoing what everybody else has said on YouTube when talking about him and The Dark Knight. He's terrific in this movie, and in my opinion, he's one of the best movie villains, period. The story in this film as well is terrific, because what I like is how it very much picks a specific theme to go for. With Batman Begins, the theme of that film was fear. In The Dark Knight, this is very much about chaos and anarchy. And I love that. I like how all three of these films are separated by their own unique theme. And I think the idea of chaos in this one was brilliant, because the Joker is the embodiment of chaos. The film does such a good job of showing that, but then also showing what Batman represents in his theme, which is of course order, and how the two clash with each other, not just in terms of their characters, but also trying to see whether the citizens of Gotham, which side of that coin they fall on. Will they give into order, or will they give into chaos? That was just a really good way and a really good theme to carry on throughout the whole film. It was brilliant. And what I love about this film especially is just how the final act plays out so differently to any other superhero movie. It's not this epic laser sky beam in the middle of the city. It's a battle for Gotham's soul. It's a battle to see if the people of Gotham really are as good as Batman wants them to be, or whether they are, push comes to shove, just as bad as any criminal on the street as Joker believes they are. I really love that concept. And of course the final bit on the two boats where they've both got a bomb that can blow each other up, that scene is brilliant, and it does such a good job of really visualizing the themes that this movie is going for. Again, it's just so fresh, and it's such a different take to have on, I guess, the final act superhero trope of, you know, oh, it's just all about action, when really this film is very much just an ideological battle, which of course you've still got your action stuff with the Batman taking down Joker and then obviously going after Harvey Dent, but I just liked that Nolan added that extra layer on top of the action, which we all love to see in superhero films. Speaking of the action as well, it's fucking brilliant in this film. This has some great action in here. I think this is a big step up from Batman Begins, and not a lot of people really mention that, because I genuinely think the action in this movie is brilliant. I think the hand-to-hand combat sequences are a lot better. They don't go for that kind of quick style editing that they used in Batman Begins. It's a lot more refined here. They let the camera focus on the action a lot more, which was a really nice choice. And I think it just showed that Nolan was a bit more confident in shooting hand-to-hand combat sequences, but it's really the high-scale action that Nolan just kills in this movie. The opening bank heist, fantastic. The truck chase with the truck that does the flip in the middle of the street, brilliant. It's just such a brilliant movie in terms of the action, and it's just so well done, especially with the IMAX cameras that they used throughout a lot of these big scale action sequences. It just did such a great job of heightening the action and just making it feel even more epic. And the fact that so much of it was in camera, it just makes it even more beautiful. The film's pace as well is terrific. This film's about 2.5 hours long, but it never drags 1 second. There's always something entertaining on screen. There's always something to keep you invested, whether it's an action sequence, a great character interaction, and you're never once distracted, or you never feel like once that the movie's going on any longer than it needs to. And the score for this one as well is probably my favourite out of all of the Dark Knight trilogy, because I just love the themes that they use for all the characters in this one, especially the Joker's theme is absolutely terrific. Just the slow escalation of the music cue as it goes up and up really helps to add to the tension of the scenes that he's in, and it's easily one of my favourite themes for any character in a superhero film. It was just so creepy and on edge, but it's just so damn effective. And then of course you've got the usual Nolan stuff. The film is just really well shot, the cinematography is fantastic, the editing is brilliant, the way that it cross cuts between stuff. The film's ending as well is just absolutely god tier. The monologue by Gordon about how Batman is the hero that Gotham deserves but not the one it needs right now, that whole monologue is absolute perfection. The fact that Batman takes the fall by taking responsibility for all the atrocities that Harvey's committed to keep his legacy intact, it's just such a fulfilling ending and such an emotionally cathartic way to wrap up this movie. And it was brilliant because at the time we didn't know if we were getting another film after this. For a long time Nolan even said himself that he wasn't sure if he wanted to make a third movie after The Dark Knight, and it was just such a pitch perfect ending, not just for this film but I feel like for the whole series as well. To that point, it was just such a brilliant way to just leave all the fans just gasping at just how great an ending that was, and then just leaving them on the edge for when they inevitably picked up, of course, with The Dark Knight Rises. But the ending in of itself, top tier. Just in general, this film is amazing. Like I say, I don't really want to retread stuff that people have already said when it comes to The Dark Knight, but I can't say much more. This film is genuinely fantastic. You can maybe poke holes at some of the logic in the film and maybe some contrivances in the plot, but to be quite honest with you, I don't give a shit. Like, I really don't, because when everything is just firing on all cylinders as good as this movie does, even if there are even minor tidbit issues, I don't care, because I don't notice them on screen. Rather than trying to ramble on for an endless amount of time, let's just get into the final score for this film, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys will know what it is. It's, of course, a 10 out of 10. I've said it many times. For me, this is the best superhero movie I've ever seen, and I think it will stay that way for a very long time. I just very much struggle to see how any film will top this. There are films that have come close to doing so, you know, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Logan, but they just haven't been able to get past what this movie did. And it's such a landmark film because every superhero movie that has come out since The Dark Knight has been compared to this movie, and it's for a reason, because this is just not just a damn good superhero movie, it's a damn good film, and that's one that will stand the test of time. So thank you all for watching my little bit of a fanboy review of The Dark Knight. Of course, let me know in the comment section down below, do you love The Dark Knight as much as me? Do you agree with me giving it a 10 out of 10? Because I'll be very curious to see if there's anybody who actually doesn't like The Dark Knight. I would very much love to have that conversation, but yeah, let me know about that in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hope to see you all again next time.
He's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, a dark knight.